Good morning. I have to say, first, I'm not at 100%. I have the flu, so I just beg your indulgence because I have a little headache. But I think this summit, it's quite important, and especially for me. It happens that I'm here because I got an invitation from one of my good friends in Hong Kong, Mr. Thomas Wong, and we met several years ago talking about environment. We had a common friend who is now the ambassador in Brazil, and she got us hooked into quite a number of good discussions on the environment and the international environmental agenda. My career has spanned over 27 years in the Foreign Service, and most of my time has been devoted to multilateral affairs. Most of my career has been in New York and Geneva, and when I got this assignment in Hong Kong, which came to me as a surprise, the only thing that I requested my bosses was to help me keep doing what I love the most, which is keep engaging with the chemicals and waste agenda. And this is what I would like to talk to you about today. It's very short, but it gives you the linkages between the environmental treaties on chemicals and waste and the fashion industry. And so, first of all, greetings to you all. And as I said, this is of paramount importance for our countries. The intersection between chemicals, the waste conventions, and the fashion industry is a topic that not only concerns the health of our planet, but also the well-being of every individual who dons a piece of clothing, which in essence is all of us. Let's begin by acknowledging the immense cultural, economic, and creative contributions of the fashion industry. It employs millions worldwide, fuels economic growth, and gives voice to cultural expressions. However, it is also a sector notorious for its environmental footprint, specifically through chemicals usage and waste consumption. The chemicals used in the production of garments pose significant health risks to workers, consumers, and ecosystems. They infiltrate our waterways, soil, and air, and can lead to chronic diseases and biodiversity loss. Meanwhile, the waste conventions, Basel, Rotterdam, and Stockholm, help govern the life cycle of hazardous substances and waste. The relevance to the fashion industry, therefore, is profound. The Basel Convention, for example, regulates the transboundary movement of hazardous waste and their disposal. The fashion industry, which often outsources production to developing countries, must comply with these guidelines to prevent the illegal dumping of toxic waste. The Rotterdam Convention, on the other hand, promotes shared responsibilities in relation to the import of hazardous chemicals. It requires the prior informed consent of the importing country, ensuring they're aware and prepared to handle the risks involved. Lastly, the Stockholm Convention aims to eliminate or reduce the release of persistent organic pollutants, many of which are used in textile production. Adherence to this convention can help the fashion industry shift towards safer alternatives, protecting both the environment and public health. These conventions provide a framework for the fashion industry to mitigate its environmental impact. But they are just the beginning. We must also encourage the development and adoption of more sustainable practices within the industry. These could mean promoting natural dyes over synthetic ones, investing in technology to recycle and reuse water, or supporting innovative materials that reduce their reliance on harmful substances. We must create a fashion industry that not only understands the value of these conventions, but actively incorporates their principles into the design, production, and distribution processes. We should also consider the end life of a garment. The Ellen MacArthur Foundation reports that every second, the equivalent of one garbage truck of textiles is landfilled or burned. Encouraging a circular economy where waste is minimized and resources are kept in use for as long as possible is crucial. This can include initiatives such as clothing rental, repair, and recycling. In conclusion, the chemicals and waste conventions are not just bureaucratic protocols. They are regulations and guidelines that can lead the fashion industry towards a more sustainable and responsible future. They serve as a reminder that every stitch, every dye, every garment we produce and wear has an impact on our planet and our health. It's high time we ensure that this impact is a positive one. Thank you for your attention, and let's work together towards a more sustainable fashion industry. But before I go, I would like to share with you the experiences I have had in Hong Kong through the years. I've been here more than 4.5 years, and the change that I have seen in Hong Kong with respect to these conventions and another one, which is the Minamata Convention, which takes care of the elimination of mercury and products with mercury compounds or contaminated with mercury, so what I want to say is I've seen a change in Hong Kong. And why? When I came here, I remember, and I talked to the government, of course, about these conventions because of my interest. Nobody knew. Nobody cared. And now, after 4 years, I am so glad that I'm seeing all these recycling projects that are on the street. But also, luckily, I have received, for example, a letter in my house asking me about the new Minamata Convention amendments that will come into force. So this is, what I'm trying to say is, the change that I have seen in Hong Kong in trying to adhere to all these international conventions is something that is real, that I'm very glad that I planted a little seed, and I hope for the remainder of my time here and the years to come, this will be what we will experience. So thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you a very successful summit.